Hi everyone, today I'm taking a look at the Aputure LS1S, which is their top of the range model. And if you want to see my reviews about their other smaller lights, then have a look at the links down below. If you could look above the light. I'm limited with working with only one light here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and bounce it off the wall so I get sort of a bit of a light from the light itself and a bit of a light just sort of bouncing off the wall. And 3, 2, 1, jump. This is a very high quality light aimed at professionals. It's coming in at a higher price point. It's built in a way that's a little different to most LED lights. It's got a lot of high power LEDs very close together, and then they're mounted directly to a big heatsink, and that's this entire unit. There's no electronics here. The electronics are in a separate unit, which is over here. So here I've got it with my Kayo MaxStar V-mount battery, but you can use this with a power supply. And so you don't save much space or weight by going with this instead of a battery pack, but of course you'll be able to run without any time limits. This is a 120 watt light. I'm not sure if all battery packs will be able to handle that. Some of them should. I'm not sure exactly which ones will and won't, but you need to make sure that the battery can discharge that fast without overheating or something. So you can have the control unit on the floor. There's quite a long cable between this and this, or you can have it connected to here close to the light so you can reach it easily. On-off button right there, a brightness control wheel right here, and then here you've got the DMX connection, a separate control system to control this. I don't have any use for that. And then you've got two buttons here to control the group and the channel, and those are just two different methods of differentiating between your different lights so that you can control them with the remote, which is included. And I've said this before, I'm a really big fan of the Aputure remote system. I wish all my lights had remotes this good. They're just really compact, really nice controls on them. You can use some of these and some of these with one remote. That works fine. Make sure you're on the right channel. And then you've got a really nice simple on-off and raise and lower the brightness. And if you're using one of the versions that has a variable color temperature, like this one here, then you can control that through the remote as well. Now this light is actually so bright that I thought my light meter was broken. So I ordered a new meter and my meter wasn't broken. It's just a super bright light. So 1 meter away, I'm getting over 17,000 lux, which is lovely. And let's double check that. And there we go, 17,000 lux. So this does give you loads of light to work with, but keep in mind that when you're using this inside an umbrella or a softbox, it will be roughly the same as other 120 watt lights. Not that there are many, but for example, it'll be slightly more than most 100 watt lights when used together with a diffuser, because that diffuser means it's no longer throwing the light forward in one direction. And just as an example, if we take a light that has a single LED and we add a Fresnel attachment to it, then we'll get the same effect. We'll have a very small area of light, but it'll be brighter than just the light itself. So here, the Fresnel lens is not detachable, but in theory it has a Fresnel lens attached to it because it's pushing all the light forward in one direction. So how do the light storms compare to the cheaper LEDs from Aputure? Well, all three of them seem to have a very high quality light with 95 plus CRI. So with the 160 and the 198, you don't get as much light, but you get a light that's almost indestructible and very nice to work with. I really like these for travel. Now the medium-sized ones from Aputure are also very good lights, very good quality color reproduction. And I haven't dropped any of these, but I think possibly they might be a little more fragile than the smaller ones. So personally, I prefer multiples of the smaller ones. So here I've got one of these little adapters and a suitable power plug. So here with the H160, the H being the high CRI version, we've got a little over 1,500 lux, which is very nice for a small light. Here with the 198, which has a slightly wider beam, we're getting 1,400 lux at 1 meter. Now I've reviewed most of these larger versions in the past. They will give you somewhere between 1,200 lux and around 4,000 lux. And so the spot beam versions will give you more, the color changing versions will give you less, the wide beam versions will give you somewhere in the middle. I don't have all of these here to show you today, but see my reviews down below and there will be lux readings at 1 meter in my reviews. Now the build quality on these is great, but personally I would prefer a light that's in one unit, meaning doesn't need to have this as an additional piece and then this as an additional piece. Some people prefer a panel. Now this can be used together with a softbox or an umbrella, but it doesn't have the connections for those things on the light itself. So you will need to find a different way to connect it to the softbox or the umbrella. Now it's built to look and feel very professional. It feels really tough. With these things, if they drop, pretty much nothing happens. With these things, if they drop, I guess the light would probably break or the power connection would break. With the light storm, if it drops, whatever's underneath it is going to break. So I would say use some sandbags or something, make sure that this is not going to fall because it is heavy. Around 4 kilograms for the kit with these two pieces and the cables. Now that is about 1.5 kilograms more than my single LED lighting units. This is a little more compact, but noticeably heavier. These edges here are quite sharp, and I'm sure this is something they could easily fix in the factory, so maybe after they see this video, they'll do that. But there's really sharp edges here, and I mean, I can't even, if I move my hand like this, I can't even move my hand against it because it will cut my hand. So like with my fingers, not too bad. With a soft area of skin, no way. Obviously not a huge issue, you just gotta be careful when you, I mean, you can touch it with your fingers, it's fine. Just don't move your hand up against it quickly. It has barn doors which allow you to aim the light, and this is the sort of spot you could get with this. I would have liked to see an option to connect these two pieces to the back of the light to create a single unit. Now what I read on the Aputure Facebook page is that the price was originally supposed to be about $500 and then I think less than that for the smaller versions, but the price was pushed up by the US retailers or something like that. So if Aputure figure out a way to sell this at a lower price point, around $500, then I think it makes a little more sense. Even though it's a very high quality light, there are other high quality lights that cost less than this. So I think $700 for this, pushing it a little bit. If this is within your price range and you really want the features of this, then it's a great light. With my lights, I spent $500 per light, or £300 per light. Sure, that's a lot of money, but for a high quality light, I think that's a very good investment. Personally, I do prefer lights where the entire light is built into one box and just has one cable going from it and has a single LED. But I know that some people do prefer panels. Panels are used a lot in the industry, so of all the panels I've used, this is the best one. Of course, it is the most expensive one as well. Okay guys, I hope you found this useful. You can support this channel by clicking the links down below to get your light storms. Comments below if you have any questions. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.